Right then, welcome back to another YouTube video. Today is Saturday, just coming up to a week post-show. I'm not sure what the date is today, but it's Saturday. Coming up to a week post-show. So I thought today I'd do kind of a wrap-up, as I've kind of had chance to take it in what has happened post-show, the whole kind of season wrap-up, if you want. I'm going to try and keep it short and sweet, but knowing me, I'll ramble on for a good 20 minutes or so I apologise in advance, but I'm going to try and keep it short. I'm kind of going to go through each of our showings this year. So we've done 3 shows this season, starting with our first one, which was basically like 12 weeks into prep. The condition was there. This was the Manchester show. These are all PCA, by the way. This is our Manchester show. So we were kind of gunning for this show, as I can come in condition pretty quickly. You know, when prep starts, and I lose body fat pretty well, and we were in a good position starting prep anyway in terms of body fat levels. You know, we weren't fluffy, we were kind of in touching distance, 12 weeks to kind of bring a good condition to stage. Now for me, going into any show, my mindset, and always has been, is to win. I don't compete to just compete and to kind of just, you know, be happy with a top 3 or 4th or whatever, or come, you know, be happy with 3rd place, which is what we got. We got 3rd, and you know, I wasn't happy. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't happy with that. Knowing my mindset of just wanting to win, it was a kick in the balls. You know, it really was. But with the package we brought to stage, which obviously when you're kind of in it and in prep, and you know, you obviously see your physique as like a winning physique, obviously, because that's what you're gunning for. But obviously, you know, looking back on the pictures and comparisons, the guys that came in 1st and 2nd were much more conditioned than I was. You know, they probably peaked for that show. We didn't peak for that show. We kind of just walked in, obviously did a little depletion and a very small average carb. I think I carved up on 600 gram of carbs for that show, and just nothing compared to my last one. You know, so overall I wasn't happy, and I think that's when Luke kind of realised, okay, Henry's like, you know, the winning mentality. He doesn't want to do a show and just place 3rd or 2nd. He wants to win every show we go into. So our next showing, which was a week later, bear in mind a week later, we stepped things up a notch. This was the Birmingham show. We stepped things up a notch with cardio, with food, with just gunning for that condition that would win. And we turned my physique around in 5 days. A big change in condition, which I was very happy with. And I felt good going into this show. Still not as conditioned as not as conditioned as we can get, but in a place where we can be more competitive on stage, which we did. I placed 1st. I took the win in my novice class there. I'm competing in novice this year. I didn't say that at the start, but these were all novice regionals. So we did Birmingham. We won that. You know, in our first showing we took 3rd, so we did get an invite for the British finals there, and then we got another invite for British finals when we placed 1st in Birmingham. So I was happy with that outcome. It definitely, I definitely saw some sort of redemption from when I placed third. I'd never, prior to that, I came, because I won my first times the year before and won the overall, and then I came third in the World Championships. So I was pretty happy with that third, but I've always kind of won shows. So to take third, the first show was pretty hard hit, and I felt like some sort of redemption was needed. So I was happy to take first in the Birmingham show, which put me back on that winning mentality and that mindset to go in and just dominate the stage, which was very good in terms of the timescale we had for our next show, which was British Finals. We didn't really want to step on stage again because we'd already done 2 peaks. We needed the body to kind of recover. We needed the body to kind of maintain itself and, put myself in a position where we were going to bring my best. I think it was about 5 weeks we had. I think it was about 5 weeks we had before the British Finals, which is a very good chunk of time to, you got to remember, going on stage in Birmingham, condition was much better. We were in touching distance away from the best condition we could bring this season. So it really was just a case of maintaining and keeping me fresh whilst bringing in even more condition through the weeks ahead. So we had quite a big chunk of time. 5 weeks is a lot of time when you're in condition already. So it was kind of, like I said, just about keeping fresh. We did do 2 refeeds. So we did quite kind of like a trial just to see what would happen, because obviously these peaks and these preps are all learning curves in terms of coach applying, working with a different body every year, obviously working with more muscle mass. So we trialed, a dirty peak with, I think I did the 5 guys and then a Turkish grill on that night, just to see what would happen with body weight. I think I put on like a kilo overnight with still good condition. So we did that was good. And then I think like 3 weeks out from British Finals, we did a trial carb up of, because condition was really starting to take shape, and I was pretty much there, probably like 2 or 3 weeks out, which is a really good place to be in. We tried a big carb up, so we did, I think, 1,000 gram carbs over 2 days, seeing what the body weight would do. Body weight didn't move much, if not any. So we kind of knew where my carbs were going to be for show day. So let's just fast forward to show day, because time's already getting on. Don't want to bore you. So British Finals, which was for me last week now, which was the 15th of October, I believe. So the depletion part of that week, we talk about peak week, the depletion part of that week was pretty intense. I think we did 4 days of depletion. Carbs got as low as 150 gram carbs, which for me is very, very low. A normal day in peak week was like 250. Our last day of depletion was 150, just to prime the body ready for the carb intake, which we did. Which we actually did Thursday, Friday. Previously in our previous peaks, we'd done Friday, Saturday loading, which would bring us up to, competing on Sunday, would bring us up till show day. This time around, Luke wanted to kind of preserve a day where we'd have a day to kind of wash off carbohydrates and give us another day to assess things. So we did Thursday, Friday, 1,200 gram carbs. Body weight didn't move much again, which is a good sign, because the body's kind of just soaking up these carbohydrates from being so low from the depletion. Condition was staying put, as I wasn't going anywhere, and I was filling up nicely, slowly but nicely. And then the third day, which was the Saturday, we did a 900 gram carb up, which would kind of put me in a position where we were starting to drop a bit of water, but still kind of keeping me full at the same time. And then fast forward to show day, I woke up the same weight, I think, that I did the previous day, which was a good sign for me, meaning that I was keeping that fullness. You know, if we had a big weight drop on show day, I would know that I was flatter and not as full, but we weighed in the same. So I woke up feeling pretty happy with that, and I was like, yeah, we're on today. Like, fullness is going to be there regardless of what happens today in terms of the morning protocol. And then show day, woke up very early. I think it was like 4:45 because we had to get down. I went down to get my base coat time on the Saturday, so I drove to Telford to get my base coat time on Saturday. Drove back, checked in with Luke's on Saturday night, slept Saturday, and then drove up very early on Sunday morning to get my tan, which was 7:30. So the first feeding of that morning went in at 4 a.m, which was a protein fat. It was about 30 grams of protein, about 10 gram of fat I had in the morning, which we've done every single week and every single show day. And then it was just a case of feeding me carbs. Carb feedings, I think we did 3 or 4. I think it was three carb feedings before going on stage, and fat. So what we did, just to give you an insight, each meal was exactly the same. 6 rice cakes, jam, which wasn't weighed out, just a teaspoon probably, serving size, and then 10 grams of peanut butter and 2 grinds of pink salt. So that was a standard feeding for what we were going to do. So we did 3 of those before going on stage at about 11 a.m. So 3 of those probably every hour to an hour and a half in the morning, just to keep me full. Having those fats in there is just going to help the carbs stick a bit longer, make sure I don't turn them over too fast, because obviously your body's in hyper mode, it's running off not much, so adding a bit more fats in there does tend to slow the carbohydrates down. It means it's just going to stick a bit longer. So Luke came down about 9 a.m, 9:30. I was on stage at 11, so he checked over me probably 3 times before going on stage. And then it was just a case of pumping up backstage. This didn't take a lot. I've been using pumpage from Trained by JP for the whole prep, and I've used it every single time before I went on stage. So we utilised that half an hour out from stage. That went in, and then it was Tanfastics. So I'd have a handful of Tanfastics, get them down, and then pretty much just wait to start pumping up. And I'd start pumping up probably around 20 minutes before going on stage, because I take quite a while to warm up. But this time around, I literally did a round of lateral raises, bicep curls, chest press, probably 10 to 12 reps on each movement, very, very light, and I was ready. I was pumped, I was full as a house. The peak was just spot on, couldn't have gone any better. So we did that, and it was just a case of holding that until going on stage. And then did the rounds, individual routine for novice. I think there was 12 of us, and then took the win. So a British title, which is pretty cool. It's a nice way to end the season for sure. Definitely it's going to make this kind of off-season now even more prevalent, and just it gives me another sense of reason for what I'm doing. the sacrifices I'm making, you know, it really does. I can't think of what the word is, but it's what's the word? It's having a reason to do this bodybuilding. Bodybuilding takes up so much of your life, and sometimes you do feel like, what am I doing this for? Am I doing the right thing? Am I prioritizing bodybuilding too much? And when you get a sense of like what happened on the weekend, getting a British title and winning and making a standpoint and being the age I am and going up against people who are 5-10 years older than me, who have been doing it for much longer, and me coming in and taking a win and being the best bodybuilder on stage at that point in that time, at British finals, where any of the winners from the regionals could have turned up that day, and which they did, and we managed to take the win. So it kind of just validates for me that I'm chosen the right path and going down the right way. So for me, it was a good weekend, and like I said, it just validates a reason for me to keep doing what I'm doing. So yeah, that was show day. Now we are 1 week post show. Condition's still in a good place. Obviously, body weight's kind of climbed up quite nicely. I think I'm like 9 kilo above stage weight, which is a lot for some people, but for me, being 6'2", I tend to hold a lot of mass anyway. Body weight likes to kind of naturally be this weight or more on just a normal day-to-day basis. So we've still got lines everywhere in glutes and holding a bit of water, but that should wash off soon. Just keeping fluids high and everything. But we run into this kind of recovery process now, health phase, which will last till the end of the year, and then we'll move into the off-season, which will start January. So we're starting the rebound next week. That's going to be in place, and then it'll be a case of getting my bloods done in the next 4 to 5 weeks, making sure they're all good before Christmas, and then, like I said, setting up an off-season to start in January. The plan with this off-season, obviously now taking a win in the British title, I can't compete in novice again, so I have to move up categories, which obviously means going up against more experienced guys and better caliber of athletes, which for me, being 6'2", tall, long-limbed guy, means I need more size, means I need to fill this frame up more, which means it's going to take more time. So the off-season now is kind of, there's no cap on it, to be honest. There's no date that we're securing and putting down in terms of competing next, so I don't really know. It's just going to be when I'm ready, which I'm more than happy to do. I don't want to go on stage again and not be competitive. That is not the reason why I do this. It's the only reason I'm compete is to compete and win. So it's a case of getting into this off season now and throwing everything at it really. Trying to put on as much size as possible, obviously, is what you do in the off season, but filling this frame up to the point where we can be, the next time we step on stage, we will be competitive in our next step up and leveling it up. So that is the plan. So yeah, wrapping up this season. Hopefully I'll be able to keep these YouTube videos going. Maybe have a week or two off for YouTube, and then we'll kind of get back into some other things, because not much is going to go on over these next couple of weeks in terms of interesting things to talk about. It's basically just going into a rebound phase and making the most of the condition we're in, the food that's going in now, and putting some size on the first month or two, and then health phase will end at the end of the year, and then we'll start properly off season. So it might be a case of starting the YouTube again at the start of the off season or something like that. So we'll see. But knowing me, I'll probably just start filming again anyway. So yeah, appreciate everyone kind of following along with the prep. I hope everyone's enjoyed it. Hasn't been the longest prep, 17-18 weeks, but I'm ready now to kind of start growing again and put some really good quality tissue on. So yeah, thank you guys, we'll see you again soon.